Welcome to The Finer Life. I'm Dr. Cate Shanahan here with my brilliant husband, Luke Shanahan, who is a writer and knower of all things. He's going to introduce us to 5 aspects of the finer life.
Well, you know, the thing is, we write about how to live better physiologically, how to get rid of diabetes, how to eat real food like chefs used to recommend and celebrate to this day.
We write about science.
We write about science, but why live longer if you're not inviting into your life those things that make life, you know, the things that breathe excitement into your life, the things that we live for.
Right.
Like
this book.
Like this book here.
This book, we've lugged this book around all over the country. We've moved a number of times. You'll probably hear that.
But it's Louise Gluck.
Why bother?
It's one of the great poets. So The Finer Life, this podcast, I hope you like it. And if you do like the podcast, make sure to do a thumbs down. Honestly, I'm really asking this. This is our thing.
Yeah.
Don't do a thumbs up.
We don't want thumbs up. We just want
no thumbs up. If you love it, thumbs down. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about the 5 things that we think really populate or kind of present the furniture of a well-appointed life, if you will. And those are art, food, architecture, music, and literature. And literature is what we're talking about today. The highest literature, Kate. Are you listening?
I'm really listening.
The highest literature is poetry, modern American poetry, some of the best. Poetry.
You were a poetry major.
I did, yeah. I majored in poetry.
You got a master's.
I have a master's in writing. I taught writing for 10 years, written a number of books, ghostwriter for a dozen ghostwritten books, wrote Deep Nutrition with You, wrote Food Rules, all kinds, thousands of articles. You know.
You know how to write.
I write all over the place. I can't stop. I'm, let's say, incontinent when it comes to yeah.
Not incompetent.
Incontinent. Right. Yeah, no, not incompetent. Never. No, I can't control my writing bowel. And
tell me about Louise Gluck.
Yeah, I will.
I've never heard of this person. Why haven't I?
Ooh. Oh, see, now you're getting me upset.
I'm sorry.
Oh, because we don't care about writing. Always, when you see these YouTube videos, and some of them are very, very helpful when they talk about, ooh, this is the drone you should buy, you should shoot this way, you should light this way. Very helpful. Thank you, by the way. Very generous of them to do that. But they always say, oh, don't forget story. But you know what? I don't think we really care about story anymore. No one knows how to tell a story. Ron Howard knows how to tell a story.
Well, we care about story, but we don't realize that there's something to it other than just going blah, blah, blah for a long time.
Yes, that there's a structure, a point, a trajectory, an energy, what does it you mean to say? There's nothing. I mean it. There's nothing in the world. I challenge you. I challenge you. There is nothing in this world that is really worth watching, seeing, reading, experiencing that isn't making some sort of point. And I know that, you know, there will be arguments against that. But name me, I dare you, anything that isn't saying something about the world, meaningful, that you take into the tissue of your body and carry with you for the rest of your life. And I mean art.
I'm sorry.
What? Polly?
Making a point.
I was going to say, she's making a point. Do you know what her point is?
I want to go outside.
I want out. That's a point. So
she's pretty good at making it. We better let her out. Look how cute she is.
We're just about done here.
What? We just started.
We're just about done. So, Louise Gluck. Gluck, Glick, Glick, Glock, Glick, Glick, Glick. G-U-L with 2 dots. If you've got 2 dots. Gluck? Glick?
Probably
Gluck. I saw her speak live and she pronounced her name and I'm an idiot and I don't remember how she said it, but she's one of our great American poets. Let's talk for a moment about poetry. First, can I read you this really short poem?
I'd like to hear it.
Lean back and enjoy. This is called The Drowned Children by extraordinary American poet Louise Gluck. You see, they have no judgment, so it is natural that they should drown. First the ice taking them in, and then all winter their wool scarves, floating behind them as they sink, until at last they are quiet, and the pond lifts them in its manifold dark arms. But death must come to them differently, so close to the beginning, as though they had always been blind and weightless. Therefore, the rest is dreamed, the lamp, the good white cloth that covered the table, their bodies. And yet they hear the names they used, like lures slipping over the pond. What are you waiting for? Come home, lost in the waters, blue and permanent. My God.
That's a lovely poem.
Slipping. Why slipping? Why use that word? Why slipping?
Reminds
Like lures slipping over the pond.
Perfect, thank you.
Why?
Because it's easier. No, I mean, it's easier than like say, what would...
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I kind of, no, that's actually, no, what is easy about
you don't think about, it's not active, it's passive.
the words, or the sound, the sibilance.
Is very pleasant and relaxing, and I think what she's trying to do is create a sense of they're dead. It's tragic, but at the same time, in a way, it's almost
How does it do
beautiful.
that? How does it do that? With the S sounds.
By soothing you with the S sound, the soothing sound.
What is S sounds like slippery, slipping.
okay.
Slipping. It's the actual, many of our words actually take on the sound of what they are to represent. For example, I don't a branch.
Right.
I break it.
Crack.
I crack it open.
Right.
Crack. Right. The vocatives, the glottal stops. The right. But when you slide, you're slipping the lure. So it creates the sound. Right. Speaks directly to the image. Okay. So you see, they have no judgment. Mm-hmm. So it is natural that. Why natural?
Wait, natural that what?
That they should drown.
Oh, right.
That they should drown. It is natural that they should drown. Why that word natural?
It's like nature taking its course.
Yes.
It's sort of like an early rendition of the Darwin Awards almost, but set to poetry.
God, no.
That's not
No. That's
no, it is though. It is. I mean, yes, it's bad.
Well, it's all right.
Sentiment.
But I mean, I choose not to judge children in such a way.
Their parents
Okay.
should have told them.
They should have.
Right, because it is
Well, accidents
natural.
happen.
Accidents happen, but their parents should have told them.
That's funny. You should. All right. Well, that's funny. I go to my spirit goes to non-judgment, not judgment.
But not of the
Here.
kids. But
No,
of
not
the
of
kids.
anybody.
It
is
reason.
natural. Things happen. Bad
Right.
things happen.
Right.
It is only natural. Bad things
Okay.
occasionally. But no, all right. So you.
Their parents should have been watching over them.
Well,
don't
it can
you
be.
think?
Good. Well, you make a good point. Well, that's the wonderful thing about
What were
poetry.
they doing there? Didn't it start out? How did it start out? It wasn't like
You see, they have no judgment. So it is natural.
you see they
You
have no
see-
judgment, meaning you should have told them.
Let's go.
Don't
with
you
that.
think?
Yeah. Don't. What are you doing on that thin ice?
Right.
There was a great Stephen King. Remember The Dead Zone?
That's
Remember we
Stephen
go.
King, right?
You're gonna die.
Christopher Walken.
There's a bunch of kids on the ice. They're breaking through. I don't know. They can't breathe. Don't let them go.
Yeah. Good.
So they needed. So you're saying they needed Christopher Walken from The Dead Zone.
Yeah, or a parent.
Good point. And the pond lifts them in its manifold dark arms. Why manifold?
It's because it's everywhere. No matter where they fell into the pond, there were arms there ready, waiting. for them
That's a
in the
lovely.
form of reverse gravity.
That's lovely. It means the whole pond is arms.
Right. The entire thing.
Isn't that right? And language did that.
Right.
Language created. Okay.
There were probably 80 words that you read, and the whole poem that told that whole story.
As though they had always been blind and weightless. What do you think of when you think of blind? Is this a little bit scary? But blind and weightless. Weightless. What emotion does that bring up? The word weightless.
Sleeping.
Yes. And is that a good thing?
Yeah.
I'm weightless. I'm drifting. I'm kind of taken. I'm right. It feels good. Blind and wet. So she's interrogating the nature of death, that you're falling into these manifold dark arms, right? Radiohead, I think, says falling into arms, right? It's this idea of leaning back into the universe, which holds you, almost cradles you.
Back where you came from.
Back where you came from, to the beginning, before your senses took hold.
Because it's sort of very in utero too, right? Blind and weightless.
Yes. Oh, that's a lovely. I hadn't thought of that. You're right.
Is that what you look like when you?
Oh, that's lovely. Yes. There's another. It reminds me of another poem, Randall Jarrell, it called "Death of the Ball Turret Gunner." It goes like this. I can't believe it that you said that. I believe it. You're brilliant. But I mean, my God, what a wonderful insight. Because "Death of a Ball Turret Gunner" goes like this. One moment, please. Working. One moment, please. One moment, please. From that, I fell into the state. And
that's Jeopardy music. It helps people think. Jeopardy music.
Yes, thank you. And hunched in its belly till its wet fur froze. 5 miles from Earth, loosed from its dream of life. They woke to black flak and the nightmare gunners. When I died, I woke, it goes like this. I woke from my mother's sleep and fell into the state. And woke from my mother's sleep, I fell into the state and hunched in its belly till my wet fur froze. 5 miles from Earth, loosed from its dream of life, I woke to black flak and the nightmare gunners. When I died, they washed me out of the turret with a hose. It's that ball, though. You know what a ball turret is? A ball turret gunner, right? It's this plastic thing that's under the plane. But they were estimated to live some 6 minutes in combat because, first of all, they're being shot at all the time. The black flak is all this artillery stuff coming at them, and if the landing gear didn't go down, they're trapped in there for one reason or another. It's not a
6 minutes in combat. That's what they got. Before we go, how does that poem? I think I have an answer, but how does that poem elevate someone's life?
Oh gosh, I'd love to. Can I hear your answer first?
Well, I think.
Do you mean that poem or any poem? Sorry.
I think I mean this poem,
okay.
but it applies to any poem, and part of it is just taking the time to shut up and listen to somebody who took a lot of time to put 80 words on a page in a certain order, and just to respect that, right? Because we don't do that these days.
Okay.
We don't open a book and read 80 words ever, almost anymore.
I think it was Fran Lebowitz who said, you know how everyone has a book in them?
Yeah.
She's like, no, you don't. You don't have to write it. No, I disagree. I think most people who have 80 words to say should just keep it to themselves.
No, I don't mean just someone. I mean somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah, if you have something incredible.
Over each word carefully, and each word that won the poetry contest of being entered into that particular poem was there for a reason. And so just to create the space in your day when you do that.
There's a quietness. You're right about everything you say. But I would suggest that the quietude that cloister, that hallway in the dark leaf, as poet James Wright would say, listening into the hallway of a dark leaf is how he put it. Beautiful. Another poet said it is like a maple leaf pressed into a secret book. Or a secret maple leaf pressed into a book. There is this element in poetry of there is this space that is completely yours, and no one else's. A private, experience.
The writer or the reader?
Both.
Right?
Both.
Oh, okay.
And not even that they're sharing the room together, but that what a poet writes, it is essentially a prayer. And when the person hears that poem fully, they are participating in the role of God. They are hearing that prayer. That is the relationship between the poet and the reader. in the best of circumstances.
And that, participating in the what of God, did you say?
When you are the reader who really hears the poem and is put into a different spiritual and emotional space as a result of hearing it, you are participating because you're playing the role of God. The prayer was sent out and it was received. And the God of inside you heard it and connected, and your whole world was made bigger. And in that sense, you're participating in the act of creation. Because your world is made larger, much like when God said, "Let there be light," the world got bigger. And when
Well, if making your world bigger doesn't elevate your life, I don't know what
does either. So, this is our first installment of
the finer life.
Where we talk about pressing issues having to do with art, food, architecture, literature, and music. Next time we're going to tackle a musical thing.
And hopefully Polly will be our guest, special guest, on the next show too.
So we'll see you next time on The Finer Things. The Finer Life?
The finer
Finer Things?
life?
Life? The Finer Life.